welcome to Lessons Learned. I'm Sherry, and this is Monday Quilt Chat. Is it Monday? It may be Monday. It may be Tuesday morning. I really don't know. Actually, right at this very moment that I'm talking to you, it is Monday evening around 8:30-ish p.m. Eastern. So that gives you any idea how late I am in getting this video to you, but it will get to you as you see that it has reached you. So I had a nice little getaway this past weekend. Went and had a spiritual good time with some friends, old friends, current friends, and made some new friends, and feel refreshed and ready to carry on with life. So the weather was good. The weather was very good. We did take our camper with us, our fifth wheel, and camped at a 4-H campground, which was, I would give it a rating of about a B- maybe, if I had to give it a letter grade. It was fine. I did not know that there would be I think they called it Classic Iron show going on, and that was lots of different vintage antique tractors and equipment of that type showing off. So there was a little bit of noise, and I wasn't there during the day to hear a lot of it, but it did carry on into the night quite a bit, along with some other merrymaking. But it wasn't a huge problem. Worse things could happen, and probably if I would have known that show was going on, maybe I would have picked a different place if I could find one. But lesson learned, right? I'll check next year if I decide to do that again. I'll check and see what kind of shows are going on while we'll be parked there. But the weather was gorgeous, and no significant rain. I think it rained a little bit one morning early, and here back home too. That was about 2 hours away, but here back home, the weather, as we returned today, the weather was just gorgeous. The sky was blue with puffy white clouds, and it got a little chilly. I won't call it chilly, because chilly is more like 40 for me. That's chilly. 30 or 40 is chilly for me. It was like 70, and with a little breeze, and this afternoon it was cloudier, so it became a little bit cool. So that's why I have my sweater on right now. So while I was away, I did do some sewing. I took the bow tie project with me, and I got the rest of those bow tie little kits that I had made up to finish out of those 3.5-inch squares. I got those all finished, minus 3 that I sewed incorrectly. I must have been getting tired, and I did not have a seam ripper. So I had another lesson learned this weekend. I had fixed up one of these little dudes at one point for a project to take, and I needed to reload this for this project and take it, and I forgot it. So I didn't have a seam ripper. So I still have those 3 blocks to unsew, which is, it's two seams. Or is it just one seam? I don't know. Anyway, I have 3 of those left to do, and now I can put those together as a quilt top. So I'm just going to go with what I have, and however big it is however big it is. I don't even know yet. Haven't even calculated it out how it's gonna get laid out and put together as one complete quilt top. But starting to see the finish line on that one, at least the top. I did not do any more long arming after, let's see, did I show you on Friday? I did. I haven't done anything else with that. The berry wreath project, I am still doing some of the small piecing, and I got all of the smallest things done. I worked on that a little bit this evening, And I got that off of my desk here. And now I need to move on to some of the bigger sew and flips that I have to do. And yeah, just plugging along on that. I haven't done anything else on the State Stars, the foundation paper piecing, or the Happy Days, or the 16 patch. I haven't done anything on those more recent projects. And of course, Harriet's Journey is still down there. And then also, I have come to realize that I still have a commission project to do with the vintage quilt. I still haven't made that little tie jacket that the person wants, so she was in no hurry for it, and she's not been asking me about it, so I need to get that off my mind and out of here, but at the same time, I'm not worried about it either. I think what I really wanted to share with you today mostly are the things that I have received in the mail this past week. I've gotten quite a few things in. I didn't have anything last week, but you know, some things were taking some time to get, so all that seemed to come at the same time. So I'll share with you what I've gotten here. First of all, well, some of you probably know, many of you probably know, if you watch So Yeah, they have bought another quilt store in Utah, and they are having a lot of flash sales. So I'm looking at those as I'm available to look at those, and if there's anything I feel like I can use, sometimes I'm able to get that. So one day they had patterns, a lot of patterns. And there was a lot of patterns I didn't like. There was a lot of Laura Heine patterns, which are those art, you know, tiny pieced art quilts. And I did get one of those because I've never done one, and I think I need to do one. So I saw this one, and I was able to get this one of the pineapples. And who knows, maybe I'll do a video on me making this to see how it goes on my first Laura Heine art quilt pattern. I don't know if they're called art quilts. I think they are. It's generally what she designs. And you just take fabric that you have with certain types of prints or colors and arrange them into these pieces and quilt those down. I think that's what it is. But I'm going to try that, hopefully. And then I got two other patterns that were very reminiscent of Letters Home. You remember the Anne of Green Gables fabric that I used? And I used the pattern Letters Home. And I've been kind of looking for some other patterns that are kind of like that. And they had some, and I was able to snag a couple. And there was limited quantities, so, you know, you weren't guaranteed you were going to get it. But I did get these two books. This one is called, it's from Miss Rosie's Quilt Company, and it's called Kate. And I like the, you know, the on-point center, and then the bold border in the middle, and then the other bold border around, both of which are pieced. And then I was looking at this, and I think it's made out of a Three Sisters line, which is probably no longer available or would be very hard to find enough of. But this isn't really my, you know, color scheme I like anyway. But it does have some diagrams that help you, you know, use a totally different, this diagram in particular, this shows you what each of the blocks are made of. So even though I don't have that fabric line, I can take any fabric line, in particular, kind of a, you know, a bigger fat quarter bundle, and I can take it by color values, light, medium, and dark, and choose from my fat quarters to make these blocks, and then, you know, I will have a completely coordinated quilt like this, but in a totally different line of fabric. So this is definitely something I would like to do sooner rather than later. And then also I got this one, which is very similar, and this actually has 3 patterns in it. You can make these 2 smaller quilts or this big quilt according to the fabric requirements that are outlined in here. This one or these 2. So I thought that was a pretty good deal. It's called Blooming Beauty by Lakeside Edition, and this one is made up with batiks. But there again, you could probably use your color values with any fat quarter bundle and be able to come out with something similar. And I do like the colors of this one, and I wouldn't be opposed to using some batiks, but I don't currently have. I have a lot of batiks, but I don't have like a fat quarter bundle variety that coordinate. So not to say that, you know, I couldn't just use what I have and make it work, but it definitely wouldn't be on a, you know, a consistent color scheme like this one is. But I like all of these, especially this one. So that medallion, that's what I'm drawn to that. And then also I got from them, they went to Northcott Warehouse and had a sale from there, and they were selling a lot of Stonehenge, and I really didn't want to spend a lot of money on that sale, but I couldn't resist this piece, and I did get 2 yards of it, and this is Stonehenge Gradations. I don't know the color name on this one. I looked at the selvage earlier, but I don't think there's a color name on the fabric itself. I think they were mentioning the color names because they had the bolts. But the selvage doesn't say, it's just a number, but it does say Stonehenge Gradations. So 2 yards of this would make a nice background piece in a project, or could be well used in a landscape quilt. And then with that, they had they were going to throw in a free Figo sample fat quarter, and this one is little horseshoes, and it's on it is black, and then the horseshoes are silver, but they're not metallic-y, although they do have a different shine to them than the fabric does. I don't know what line this is from, but it's just something they threw in, so that can go in the stash. And then also, I ordered from Quilt in a Day. One day, I get their daily email, and they usually have 2 or 3 or 4, usually 3 items on special sale each day. And I had been looking for some clothesline that was economical. And while clothesline is not expensive, it takes a lot to make something. So I was able to get this. I'm thinking this is normally $9.99, and it is by the Gypsy Quilter, which, you know, it's going to be more than Walmart. But I think they were $5.99 for, and I got 2 of those, and they're 100 feet. So is that, how many yards is that? 30? I don't know. So that should make, you know, a bowl. And then also with that, they had this book, and this is a good thick book, and this is everything you ever wanted to know about sewing with rope and different patterns and baskets and whatnot. And I really like this one right here where they dipped it in dye, and I'd really like to try something like that. So don't be surprised if you see that in a Wednesday video pretty soon. I'm reading the book now. I have made one little bowl before without any real instructions. I just, you know, had a piece of rope from somewhere, wrapped fabric around it, and zigzagged it from, you know, what I could figure out how to do, I did it successfully. But there are some fancier things in here, things with little handles and little, like the cell phone thing has a little slit in it for your cord to go through and charge, and coasters with the little tab on them there, something with a handle, you know, that sort of thing. So there's a lot of different techniques that you can use with your rope sewing projects. So says learn the easy and exciting craft of sewing with rope. And I just got to the part where they were talking about, I've been reading it. I've read like 30 pages, but I think there's another section in here about the dyeing. And I was kind of skipping through there to see what that all entailed. And I think I'm going to try that. I like that. That's pretty cool. So this was like $12, $11.99. So a big book like this for $11.99 is a good deal. It's $19.99 normally. So it was nearly half price, probably 40%. They have a lot of 40% lines, or 40% off sales is what I meant to say. And so, you know, 40% off is a really good sale. And then one of you sent me some things from your stash that I really enjoy getting and know what I like. And this was sent to me in a project bag. And I got some landscape fabrics that they weren't going to use. So I can use all of the... It's about time for a landscape quilt again. I get a hankering for those ever so often, and they're so easy. So these would be good landscape, all of these. And then also she had a panel that is a sewing machine cover. Maybe some of you have seen this or made it. I'm going to make this and have this for my sewing machine in the camper. So I'm anxious to get started on that. I'll just do that as a little side project one afternoon or something like that. And then also she graciously sent me her besties, her Tula besties scraps. She had used some of this, and then some of these right here I think are from another line, but they're jelly roll strips that she wasn't going to use. So I have some more Tula pink to add to my stash, as well as some of those yummy selvages, those ample selvages. All of these are from the Besties line as well. So that was a very nice, generous gift, and I appreciate it very much. I really do. All things that I love. And then I think that's, one more biggie. I've been waiting for this. And this is why I haven't done my state star for Mississippi yet, because I've been waiting for my insert for my table. So I got my insert for my table for the pace setter, brother pace setter, that machine that I got. So this will fit on in my table, and that machine will fit down in here, and I can sew on the level. So this is from Sew Steady, and I wanted to look to see if I had a link for that. Hold on just a minute, let me look. Okay, so if you go to the description box of this video under sewingmachinesplus.com, they do have an option for the Sew Steady, that's S-E-W Steady, S-T-E-A-D-Y, for the customizable ones, the ones that are cut to fit your table according to your machine, and the hole, the cutout from your table. So you can enter all of that information in there and order one for your table. if you need it. And I have the Arrow, Laverne, and Shirley table, and those also are available on sewing machines online. Yeah, or Sewing Parts Online. One of the two, the table is in there. So if you're in the market for some, good stuff for your sewing room there, use my link if you can. If you think about it. If you don't think about it, don't worry about it. And then I think that's about all that's going on right now. I'm looking around my room to see. Oh, this week I definitely will get the Blues Boutique backing sewn up and sent out. Mary has reserved a spot for me to get that long-armed on her big long arm. She has a gamma with a, I don't know how long, 14, 16 feet long table, so she'll be able to handle that monster. So I will get that done this week for sure. If I don't do anything else, I will do that. So it's going to be a few more weeks before we see that back, but we'll get it. And then also I wanted to run something by you too. I have been approached by Sewell to promote their Alaska quilt drive, which involves, maybe us doing a project together, or my mentioning it a lot. Let me know what you think about that. If you don't want to hear about it, I won't do it. We've kind of got our own charity gig now that we want to promote. It's totally different, though, in the way that the two events, if you will, are run. Ours will be a singular auction, whereas the Alaska Quilt Drive will be all of you making quilts to send in to them to go to the Alaska Quilt Drive that they'll be having later on. But that's going to start here in a few days, and if you want to have major participation in that through this channel, I can accept their invitation. Otherwise, I'm probably just going to stick with what we're doing for now until we get that done and all the details of that ironed out and we know what we're doing, etc., etc. So just your thoughts if you want to put your 2 cents in on that. I'll be glad to read your comments and then make a final decision on that. I believe that's about it. I forgot to mention Friday to go back and look at the Wednesday video on the design boards. Let me know if you all are doing any of the design boards according to how I was teaching to do it. I still have my second one to finish up with the binding. I'll probably do that this week to get it off of my cutting table. It's still over there, so I need to get that finished up. And let me know how you like that wool batting as a design board. I think it's the way to go. I really do. Anything else? I think that's what's going on for this week. I'm getting a little bit slower start getting going this week. Monday is my favorite day, and I really didn't get to do a whole lot today for traveling back home. But I'm glad to get this video out to you. And we'll go ahead and look at the art quilt of the week. And I think you're really going to like this one. They're all great, aren't they? But this one, I'll put a picture right here so you can follow along looking at the quilt as I tell you what it's about. But this one is called Spooling Around the Block. And it's 50 by 52. It's by Kay Olson of Rapid City, South Dakota. And it says here, Kay and some friends joined a block of the month inspired by the Bound to Be quilting pattern, with Kay choosing pieced blocks and machine applique designs. The group chose their own materials and had fun seeing what the others had chosen. Machine quilted by Vicki Barleen, and quilt fit perfectly for National Sewing Machine Day on June 13th. displayed at the Black Hills Quilt Show in Rapid City, South Dakota. So the pattern is Spooling Around the Block by Bound to be Quilting, Kay Olson. So this is adorable. She did some blocks and some applique. You can probably guess what the applique portions are there. And a very fun border with the thimbles on each side. Very cute. And it looks like a simple meandering was done around the motifs on the quilt there. Adds some interest and some texture to the quilt. And any of us could do that, really. If you can draw out or copy a motif of scissors, a mannequin, a sewing machine, an iron, spools, buttons, you can create your own collage of materials there that are sewing related and make a quilt like this. It would be very cute in a sewing room, on a sewing room wall. It would. Alright, so more inspiration. I hope that's motivating for you too, to try something a little different now and again. If you're not used to doing applique, it's not that hard. It's not my favorite thing to do. I can do it. I think the funnest part for me would be actually, finding those motifs and then setting the fabric to it. Choosing the different fabrics that you could choose for those. So it would be a very fun project. Maybe we should do that one day. We probably should. And I see that this Thursday is National Sewing Machine Day. So this was the appropriate week to show this quilt. National Sewing Machine Day. Interesting. Maybe I'll do something sewing machine related for Wednesday's video. You'll have to tune in to see what I'm going to do for Wednesday, and that's going to have to happen on Tuesday of this week. I'll have one day to get that together. Let's see what I do. And also come back for Finish It Friday. I'm enjoying all the finishes that are coming in. A bunch of finishes have come in already. And so we'll have another big show on Friday. Maybe I'll get a long arm project done. I could do something small. The projects are starting to stack up already for this week, aren't they? This is the way I think. This is the way I roll. Alright, so have a great week of sewing in your sewing room. Sew a little bit each day if you can, and before long you'll have those projects finished and be able to start some new ones, because that's what we like to do, right? Alright, have a great week, and I'll see you soon. Bye!